As you can see, I have made some serious progress in the Season 2 XP reward path, and I've already made a video giving you guys my advice on how to get XP very quickly. But a question that I often get is, who should I be picking out of these packs? Because we have an Incognito pack with a bunch of rewards, we have a Kaiju pack with a bunch of rewards as well, and then there are also the bosses, which are some of the best cards in the game. So today, thanks to you guys showing so much support on the last tier list video, I thought I would make another tier list. But today, I'm going to be telling you guys which cards are the best and the worst in the XP reward path for Season 2. So just like my last tier list video, there's no one bad enough to be in either D or F. So the lowest tier for this tier list is C. The cards that are in the C tier, we have Blake Snell, Brian Roberts, George Brett, Monty Irvin, and Johnny Damon. So Blake Snell is the first card that I'm going to go over today, and the first card in the C tier. And Blake Snell is an interesting one because on paper, you know, he has really good hit K and pitching clutch, hit and K per 9. But the issue with this card is not the PCI size, because it's going to be good because he has good clutch and per 9s. It's the velocity. The 4-seam is at 97, so that's good enough. But actually, the velocity isn't too much of an issue. My issue with the card is the control could be better. The break is pretty good, but his pitch mix is just so bad. It's really bad. 4-seam slider, curveball, changeup. Curveball as a lefty doesn't work as well because it's kind of hard to explain with the break. He has 99 break, but the control. It's just the issue with this Blake Snell card for me is the pitch repertoire. I mean, if he had a sinker or a cutter, then he would be much better. But he has per 9s, but it's going to be so easy to read him just because of his pitches. Brian Roberts, also in the C tier. Brian Roberts, switch hitting second baseman, 119 contact versus righties, 94 contact versus lefties, 106 clutch, has diamond defense with 90 fielding, 92 reaction. He can play short. He will have gold defense at short. Has really good speed and aggressiveness and good enough stealing, switch hitter. But look, like, you guys who watched my last tier list video, you guys know that I need power on my cards, and he doesn't have it. 78, 69 power, and considering the amount of infielders that they added for Season 2, there's so many better options than this card. Now, George Brett is basically the exact same situation as Brian Roberts. He does have a little better power with 82 versus righties, and he has better clutch with 125 and better contact versus right at 125. But, I mean, I don't know. The only George Brett card I've ever used was the Retro Finest from last year, and that's because his power was high. I mean, I'm going to be honest. George Brett cards are never really that good except for the 99 from last year. But he has gold defense. He can play 3 spots. Speed is all right. But, again, like, there's so many options for third, first, and even short if you're going to put him there. Like, a Murakami from the last XP reward path is probably around the same price as this card. And he has, his lowest hitting stat is like 117. Like, it's not that these cards suck. It's just that there are so many better options because they don't have the power and even the defense. Monty Irvin, yet again, another guy who's pretty much the exact same scenario. There's so many outfielder cards in this game that are better than this card. Look, he has a ton of defensive flexibility, left, center, right, first, third, all at gold defense with a strong arm, has good speed, has good contact, has 125 clutch, but the power sucks. And you guys know that I'm a power fiend. I need good power. And I mean, again, there's so many better options. The card variety in the game right now is really high, and none of these guys are going to really compete with some other guys. I'll just make this quick. Johnny Damon, pretty much the exact same card as Monty Irvin. Has better speed, worse defense, but has higher, or he has the same clutch at 125. Just another contact guy, not enough power, better outfielder options, and his defense isn't that good. For the B tier, we only have 3 cards, but we have Corey Kluber, we have Shawn Green, and we have Shane Bieber. Moving on to the B tier, we are starting with Corey Kluber, and I was going to put him in the A tier, but I'm going to be honest, the only reason I have him in the B tier is strictly because the pitchers ahead of him are just better than him. Like, he's not on the same level as the guys who I have in the A tier. It's a really good card, honestly. Sinker, slurve, cutter, 4-seam, circle change. Speed differentials are there. I mean, you're not really throwing too many circle changes, so the speed differentials don't really matter that much there. The control is very good. The brake is also really good. You don't really need too much brake on a sinker as long as you just locate it with pinpoint. Like, this card is good. But 100 hits per 9 is also good. The pitch and clutch at 86, that's really what holds him back from A tier in my opinion. The 86 pitch and clutch is not going to be good enough if you're playing on Hall of Fame or Legend. Shawn Green is the second of the 3 cards in the B tier. Shawn Green is a very good hitter against righties. 90-82 versus lefties. Typically when guys have worse stats against lefties, I look at their clutch attribute, and if it's good, it'll help them out a lot, and it's not with Shawn Green. 83 clutch really hurts this card. You know, the thing about Shawn Green cards is that he's always going to be really good against righties and not amazing against lefties, and that's basically what we have here. Overall, just I would never really use him against lefties in ranked seasons. I would only consider him against righties. He has goal defense, he has good speed, but he's basically a B. He's the definition of a B tier card. Good, but not great. The last card of the B tier is not Justin Bieber, as you see on his card. It's Shane Bieber. 106, 103 per 9s, 111 clutch. It's basically the same situation as Blake Snell, but the reason why I have him a tier above Blake Snell is because his pitch mix is better. He has 4-seam knuckle curve, cutter, slider, circle change. Literally the cutter helps him so much more than Blake Snell. The control is good. The brake is really good. The speed differentials could be a little better with the slider, but overall this card is a pretty solid card. He's, you know, nothing special, but he's a solid starting pitcher. The A tier has by far the most cards in this tier list. We have a total of 7 cards, starting off with Greg Maddux, GRADY, SIZEMORE, John Franco, Tony Clark, Anthony Rendon, Nick Castellanos, and Trevor Story. The first card in the A tier is the first boss card of this video, so not all the boss cards are going to be in the S tier, and we're also going to see another boss card be in this A tier. But anyway, Greg Maddux, 99 overall, 125 stamina, so he's going to be able to throw for so long. 104 hits per 9, 95 Ks per 9, 113 walks per 9, 125 pitching clutch. Control is there, brake is there, the pitch mix is there, sinker, circle change, cutter, slider, curveball, speed differentials are there. But look, Greg Maddux, if you put him on your team, he's going to be a good pitcher. For sure, he can pitch in Hall of Fame, in Legend, in ranked seasons. But the reason why he's not an S tier, I think we all know why. It's because of the velocity. Look, Greg Maddux, A tier is really good. That means you are usable in ranked seasons, and you can be a very serviceable card, but you're not going to be an elite card. And the velocity holds him back from being an elite card. Still a really good card, but not an elite card in my opinion. Now, I'm probably going to get some hate in the comment section for this, but I have GRADY, SIZEMORE in the A tier and not in the S tier. Now look, GRADY, SIZEMORE again, another very good card. 125 contact versus right, 92 versus left, 102, 105 power, 100 clutch. That helps him against lefties. He has diamond defense at 93 fielding, speed there, 84, 92 stealing. This card is kind of 5-tool, but he doesn't do anything that is like elite. And that's what I need out of an S tier, honestly. Like, GRADY, SIZEMORE overall is a very good card. There's not one thing he does poorly, but there's not one thing that he does that screams S tier for me. Obviously, except for the contact versus righties. John Franco is one of the best lefty relievers in this game, but the only reason I have him in the A tier, not the S tier, is actually 2 reasons. One, it's literally the same thing as Greg Maddux, doesn't have the velocity, and 2, it's because there's another lefty reliever that's much better than him, and is not on the same level as John Franco. But John Franco, he's definitely going to be a very good reliever for ranked seasons teams. Like, he's really good. 103, 110 per 9s, 114 walks per 9, 125 pitching clutch. The velo hurts him, but it's still a good card. Now, the next 4 cards in the A tier are all incognito hitters. Starting with Tony Clark, switch hitter, 93, 96 versus right, 122, 100 versus left, 78 clutch. Sucks. It really sucks. But if you have this card strictly for hitting against lefties, and you can get some luck, and you don't have a runner in scoring position, he's going to be a very good hitter for you. Goal defense as well. Overall, A tier. The clutch almost sends him down to B tier, but I think switch hitter, destroys lefties, good enough against righties, can hold him down into A tier. Anthony Rendon, 97 overall, third base, first and second, 106, 104 contact, 91, 103 power, 122 clutch, helps a ton. Gold defense, 86, 81, 88, 81. This is kind of just like Grady Sizemore, where overall, he does everything well, but he doesn't do anything elite. And that's what I need out of the S tier is elite. Nick Castellanos, this is probably a really good candidate for a designated hitter card. 103, 115, 102, 100. Overall hitting is amazing. 112 clutch, also amazing. Defense isn't actually horrible. It's silver. 83 arm strength. Can play right, first, third, and left. 67 speed is good enough for the outfield as well. He could actually survive in the outfield. But he's not an S tier because his defense isn't good enough. And when you have silver defense, you need to have insane hitting stats to be an S tier card. Now, Trevor Story cards I love in MLB The Show. I love his swing. He has one of the best swings in the game. He destroys lefties. 114, 116 power versus lefties. 92, 91 versus righties. Defense, elite. 98 fielding, 93 react. Of course, these are all parallel 1 stats, but just subtract 1. 95 speed as well. This card is really good across the board, but the clutch is at 77. I'm going to be honest. If the clutch was higher, I would put this card in S tier, and it would have been a hot take. But it's 77. That kills this card. 77 clutch destroys it. Especially when you're facing a lefty and you have, the amazing stats and it goes away because of his clutch. But overall, this card is an A tier card. Now for the glorious, I don't know if you could say glorious, but for the S tier, we have Mariano Rivera, Josh Donaldson, Chase Utley, and Aaron Loup. To start the S tier, we have 3 bosses and 1 henchman. But the first card in the S tier is 99 overall incognito Mariano Rivera. I mean, it's a no-brainer. He's the greatest closer of all time. Cutter, 4-seam, sinker, slider, changeup. Speed differentials are there. Per 9s, 118, 110. 125 clutch, 118 walks per 9, 99 break. The velocity is very good. The control, elite. The break, elite. The changeup is a little weaker, but you're not really going to be using that pitch that much with this guy. Mariano Rivera is the greatest closer of all time, and in this game, he might be the best in the game right now. We just had Goose Gossage, we just had Kenley Jansen, we just had Aroldis Chapman, so he does have competition, but without a doubt, is an S tier card. The second card in the S tier is Josh Donaldson. He is another boss who is a really good card, man. 109, 113 contact, 107, 125 power, 125 clutch. Seems like all these guys have 125 clutch except for Trevor Story. I'm still annoyed about that, but anyway. Josh Donaldson, surprised his defense is actually not as good as Josh Donaldson cards typically are. Look, it's definitely good enough for this card. But Josh Donaldson, his previous 99s have always had really good defense. So I like, it's not a bad thing about this card. I'm just pointing it out. But anyway, this card destroys both sides. He has a really nice swing. Third, first, can play shortstop on this card, which is really interesting. When has he ever played shortstop? But regardless, Josh Donaldson, he's good at everything. He's a really good bat. Josh Donaldson is easily S tier. The third boss card in the S tier is Chase Utley. Now, Chase Utley, look, you guys are probably going to be saying he is pretty much the exact same thing as Grady Sizemore. And look, he's very comparable. But Grady Sizemore doesn't have as good hitting stats across the board. They're pretty comparable. But Chase Utley has a little worse contact versus right, but better contact versus left. And a little worse clutch. But Chase Utley is a second baseman. The amount of second basemen that can give you contact versus both sides and power versus both sides over 100 and clutch almost 100 with 99 fielding and 99 or 98 reaction and can also steal some bases with 74 speed is very rare. And you're getting that with Chase Utley. So Chase Utley is, in my opinion, S tier. The final card in the S tier is Aaron Loup, and you guys probably knew this was coming after I was talking about him, comparing him to John Franco. But look, if you don't count Josh Hader and Aroldis Chapman, who are themselves both very expensive, this is probably the best option for lefty relievers in this game. Sinker, cutter, circle change, slurve. Amazing pitch mix. Speed differentials are there. Control, very good. Break, very good. 125 hits per 9. 125 pitch and clutch. 99 Ks per 9. Like, there's not one thing this card is bad at. He could throw a little harder. That is probably the one bad thing. But it is so inferior compared to everything else about this card. This is honestly my favorite card in this whole program. Probably just because he's a lefty reliever and he's just insane. It's Aaron Loop. He's amazing. He's not the best card in the program, 100%, but he is an amazing card. Easily the first pick out of the Incognito pack. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys are new here, follow me on all my social medias, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. But most importantly, make sure you're subscribed right here on YouTube. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.